Making music literally every day. If you clicked on this video, there's a good chance that it's something you might want to do, but you might also feel like it's way too daunting or it's something that could kill your creativity. And you'd be right. If you do it the wrong way, it can very easily turn into this hole of crippling self-doubt where every day you sit down and you're like, why am I doing this? And by the end of it, you're just burnt out. But if you do it right, it can be an incredible creative experience. Over the last 30 days, I made a new bit of music every single day. And this actually isn't the first time I've done this. A year before, I made 30 songs in 30 days. And that was an amazing experience, but it was super intense. And by the end, I just didn't want to make any more music. I'm not saying I wouldn't do that again, but I think I approached it a way better way this time. The difference was, this year, instead of a song, I set myself 10 seconds of audio I had to make every day. That's it. Week 1 was still really intense because I had a lot of other stuff going on around the challenge, so it meant that I stuck to my comfort zone and did a lot more production, which is what I'm good at.
I've been really stressed over the last few days.
But by week 2, I realized that I had to slow down and start playing a little bit more. I started playing some more stuff on piano, started playing more guitar, and I actually let myself write some bossa nova, which is something that I've wanted to do for a while, but haven't given myself the freedom to actually do it.
I feel like every one of the last few days has been very bossa nova vibes, but
so by the time week 3 and 4 rolled around, I was feeling way more inspired and I was making all sorts of stuff with like a creative freedom, which is something that you kind of look for. And now I feel like I did it the right way and I learned a lot of really important lessons. And I kind of want to share those in case someone else is thinking of getting more consistent with their music and wants to try something like this out. This is, I guess, my guide to how to make music every day for a long period of time the right way. But it's not a guide, I have no idea what I'm... This video is sponsored by Skillshare. More on them later. There's something so tempting about the whole idea of grind culture and push super hard and hustle every day because it takes all the control away from the output and external forces and puts it in our hands. If we just make sure we work really hard every day, we don't have to worry about all the other forces. I think it's particularly tempting when it comes to creativity as well, because if you've made anything for any period of time, you know how up and down creativity is. But the thing is, when you push hard and you bring up the energy on those low days, you're not getting that energy out of thin air. You're taking it from those high and really inspiring days. And in a lot of other areas of life, that might be what you want to do. You might want to make every day consistent so there's less ups and downs. But in my opinion, when it comes to creativity and making things, those high points, those super inspiring days are where we get all our amazing creative output, and they're the most incredible days to experience. If you cut those off, it's kind of like you're cutting off the best bit. But I think there's a way to work with these creative ebbs and flows without having to cut off those high days. Take this sequence of days, for example. On day 11, I made this super amazing, super filled out thing with heaps of different guitar layers, heaps of different vocal layers, and it took me like almost 4 hours in total. Then the next day, I made something that was also pretty filled out. It wasn't like as filled out as the day 11 thing, but I was working with my mate and we ended up making this thing which took us a little bit of time. So then naturally, in the 3 days that followed that, I had like no energy to deal with. So I think I made a synth jam. Then the day after that, I just sat at my piano and worked out a melody and like a couple chords under it. And then the day after that, I just did some piano improv. And then almost as if like clockwork, on day 16, I had an idea and I had the energy to carry it out.
Why won't you stay? Why would you leave? Why won't you stay? Why would you leave?
I still showed up every day, but I didn't show up every day to grind or demand anything of my creativity. I showed up every day to ask. Imagine you've got this friend, this really moody and temperamental friend, but he's a really good surfer, and every time he takes you out for a surf, it's the most amazing and exhilarating experience. Let's call him Filippo. If you only show up to his door every so often, it's pretty unlikely that you're going to catch him on a good day when he wants to go out. But if instead you show up every single day and basically drag him out for a surf, he's not going to be very excited, and besides, he'll go home after 30 minutes and you'll waste your energy for the good days. But instead, What if you show up at his door every day and instead of dragging him out for a surf, you ask? You might have to do a little bit of convincing because yes, he's a little bit of a dick, but if you take this approach, on the days that he doesn't want to go out for a surf, you're not going to waste your energy, you'll just go home. But on the days that he really does, he'll be waiting for you. He'll be ready at the door with his surfboard and his wetsuit already on, ready to jump with you. Ready to jump with you? If you hadn't figured it out already, Filippo is my creativity. Don't show up and demand, show up and ask. I always used to hear people say this and I never really understood what it meant. I think I might be starting to understand it now. Take day 19 for example. Listen to the chords that I made then. Now you're probably listening to this going,
"Oh my god, Seb, you're so creative, those chords are so amazing, where did those ideas come from?"
But you're probably only thinking that if you've never heard this song from Liana Flores. Because realistically, all I did was steal the first 4 chords, change the key, and then move some stuff around and write a second bit to it. Not very original, to be honest. But then I came back the next day and made this. Okay, it's getting a little bit more original. And then the next day I made this. Alright, we're getting somewhere. And then the next day, I made this.
One day I'll ride a green wave to Tahiti. But these days I lie awake.
Coming from a place where I basically took some chords from a song, not to steal, but to appreciate and to understand a sound that I love, I was able to gradually incorporate that into the things that I was thinking of and make something original a few days later. If one of the big points of doing this every day is to get better, then this is the perfect playground to do that. But I didn't just grab those chords from Liana Flores and then grab some random inspiration out of the air and chuck them all together. No, those other chords had to come from somewhere, and in this case, I actually took the second one from a class I learned on Skillshare, who are kindly sponsoring this video. Listen to the second chord here from the girl from Ipanema.
Porque estou tão sozinho.
That's Gabriel Felix's arrangement of The Girl from Ipanema, and he uses that chord voicing all throughout that section. And after I'd played it a lot, it naturally just kind of came out of my music.
One day I'll ride.
Skillshare is the largest online learning community for creatives, with thousands of classes across film, illustration, music, entrepreneurship, and all sorts of other stuff. Now, I'm personally grateful that I've been able to develop the ability to hear elements from music and incorporate it into my music. But if you're just a beginner or you don't want to go to the trouble of doing that, going through a full class on Skillshare could give you some of those building blocks straight off the bat that you can start incorporating into your music. I know for me, this class from Gabriel Felix was really important because it served as a bit of a gateway into playing some bossa nova music. I'd never really taken the leap before, but for you it could be that gateway to any number of things. And that's the great thing about Skillshare. There are so many different classes on there and they're all led by super talented creatives. So if you do want to see where it could take you, the first 500 people to use my link in the description or scan the QR code will receive a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. Thanks again to Skillshare for once again supporting the channel. People are your friend. Make music with people. I found continually that making music with other people is a simple way to snap out of that mental narrative that you've got and to give you some energy out of seemingly nowhere. I'm actually kind of stunned how my state has changed by actually making music with someone else rather than just myself all the time. I feel a lot more open and happy and free. It's kind of like when you're there with someone else, you're not so focused on your own thoughts because you kind of can't. You've got to be focused on the other person and on the thing you're making. And that's exactly what happened on day 6 when I made music with Milo, who's a guy that I met on the internet and made music with him for the first time.
So right now it's 1:10 a.m. I'm having a great time.
One thing I haven't mentioned is that your voice has over the last 2 hours just gradually become slower and more calm.
In an hour I'm just gonna be, this is the greatest thing of all time.
This happened again when I made music with Eli, and then again when I made music with Billy. And it's not just this energy that they give you when you're tired. It's also a fresh perspective that they give you and new ideas that they give you. Making music with other people is one of the most enjoyable experiences that you can possibly have as a musician. It's kind of fun getting to be a part of someone else's creative process and seeing how different brains work differently. It's really cool. If you're gonna try and do this every day or just consistently, you're gonna need to have some of that inspiration and those amazing moments to keep you going. We're always going to be comparing ourselves to other people. It's pretty unavoidable, but if we don't learn to manage it and we're trying to be consistent with something like this, we're just not going to last. Along with doing this challenge for myself, I actually opened it up to the community and was doing it with over 100 other people who are also making sounds along with me. And that was amazing because I got to see the amazing stuff that people were making continually. But at the beginning, I realized very quickly that I started to compare the stuff that I was making to other people's stuff. And my music making sessions turned from a place of like exploration and having fun into a need to validate myself against the stuff I was hearing. That led to me making more filled out ideas with heaps of different layers, which is something I didn't want to do. I wanted to make very simple things and explore little ideas and stay excited, but I felt the need to have this final product that was measuring up against what other people were doing. It took maybe a week or so, but once I'd let go of that, it allowed me to start exploring ideas that really excited me and growing more as a musician. I hadn't been playing piano or guitar very much before this challenge, so I was really rusty, which meant that I was really scared to just use a raw part of that as my sound for the day and share that. But as soon as I did on day 14, I got super engrossed. The thing that was really exciting me about this session, about this sound, is I was finding different ways of reharmonizing this very simple melody in my right hand and my left hand to create the feeling that I wanted to create. And that made for a really good day. If you're trying to do anything creative consistently, you've got to manage this. As soon as you let it start being about proving your self-worth, you lose all the joy. I mentioned earlier that I did this challenge with a lot of other people, and these are those other people. But these aren't the people who I did the challenge with and who attempted the challenge with me. No, these are the 65 people who made a sound every single day. That's insane. As I looked through the submissions, some people had decided to make this about learning a synth, or some people had decided to make it about connecting with other people and doing more collaborations, and for day 30, some of them got together and made the tune you're listening to right now. But everyone had found an internal reason for doing this, beyond anything that the world could ascribe to them. Beyond the 65 people, if we zoom out to all the people who made at least one sound, that's 2,541 sounds in total, and over 36 hours of human-made creative audio in 30 days. That is absolutely mental. I'm making this the final lesson because if you can't tell, I did not expect this, and this genuinely taught me how much people want to create. I'm making this the final lesson because I think if you're going to try and do this long term, it's really important to know how not alone you are. For as much motivation as we can muster from inside ourselves, sometimes we need to feel like we're part of something greater. So the next time I get cynical or someone tries to convince me that everyone's fundamentally lazy and the world's going down the tube because people are just going to take the path of least resistance, thank you, because you've given me this thing, this concrete thing that I can look at, point at, and say, no. Check out all the 65 people who completed the challenge. I'll put their links in the description to all their stuff. Go check it out, because these people are such incredible creatives. I feel like this should go without saying, but I also feel like I have to say it. You don't have to make music every day, or even every week, to be a musician, or a creative for that matter. There are so many amazing creatives who don't do that, and everyone's creativity is different, so don't feel pressured. But if you've gotten to the end of this video and you feel like it is something you want to do, I just hope that some of these lessons that I've learned can help you get started on the right track and help you make this an incredible creative experience like it was for me and 65 others.